Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 11, Episode 9, A Pretty Meltdown. Okay, couple of things. You guys are not going to see me in front of some wonderful exotic place or a home or, I will no longer be sitting in Erika's little kitchen because I had to take down my green screen temporarily. Well, it's going to be for a while. And so I'm just going to be in front of this lovely backdrop here. All right, so episode 9 is a continuation of 8. So, of course, we're picking up right where we left off. If you remember, Sutton and Crystal were fighting, and Crystal said, "You're just jealous." Sutton went off crying, saying, "Jealous of what? Your ugly leather pants?" Yeah, so everyone went after her. Well, other than Crystal. Everyone is comforting Sutton, and Crystal is just sitting by herself. Erika's holding Sutton. Calm down, just breathe. It's just the most comforting voice. Sutton, "Well, I didn't handle that very well." In her confessional, Sutton said, "That was very wrong of me. I think they were pleather, not leather pants." Yeah, she's feisty. Garcelle is now having a little sit down with Crystal. And she's like, "I'm always going to be 100% honest with you." The word violation threw everybody for a loop. Crystal, "Well, that's the word I used. And if people don't like it, they don't like it. I'm not going to take back a word that I actually used correctly." The other ladies managed to get Sutton to come back, and now they're all sitting on the couches together in Rinna's yard. And when Sutton sits down, she said, "Crystal, I'm sorry for what I said about your pants. They're actually very cute." Crystal, "Yeah, I don't care about that." Then we get Bravo's favorite new trick to do. They throw out this poll question and they have each of the ladies answer the question in their diary rooms. Dorita's first. "When you insult somebody's outfit, that's just below the belt." Erika, "Not everybody likes what everybody else wears. I mean, Sutton wears some questionable shit." So Kyle says, "We thought we weren't going to talk about it anymore, but Sutton was in tears and she wanted to leave. She's still uncomfortable." So Crystal looks at Sutton and she goes, "Is it something that I did today?" Sutton, "No, it's just your presence." And Crystal goes, "My presence? Okay." Yeah, what you don't know, Crystal, is that Sutton means that in both senses of the word. She doesn't like you being there, and she also doesn't like that you gave Garcelle a present. Especially because the present happened to be one of your rings that Garcelle liked. Anyway, Sutton goes, "It's hard for me to be around you because you make judgments about me without knowing me." Crystal said, "Well, you know that saying, when people show you who they are, believe them?" Sutton, "Why are you constantly mean?" And Crystal goes, "You're upset because you want me to apologize for something that you did." "I will not. Let's be clear." And Sutton's like, "Get your finger out of the air." Now Crystal gets loud, or at least loud for Crystal. She goes, "I will not apologize for your actions. You are an inappropriate, awkward person. Period. And then you want to cry to get empathy. You're not going to get it, trust me." Sutton goes, "Okay, well, I was not crying to get empathy. I was crying because I wanted to leave." Okay, that's not why you were crying. You were crying because you wanted to leave? Was somebody holding you there against your will? Was it Harry Hamlin? Because he does seem too good to be true. Anyway, Crystal goes, "Then leave. It's obnoxious." So Garcelle, fed up again, she's like, "Tell her what you need from her so that we can all move on." Sutton, "You have hurt me in a lot of ways. Manic is a bit much. I kind of need that one to be retracted." Crystal, "Yeah, I'm not taking that one back." Is she like the most stubborn housewife of any franchise ever? Because she will not budge an inch. Now Dorit and Erika kind of explain to Crystal that after Sutton told you that her father committed suicide, for you to then call her manic, when he was manic, that just like stung particularly bad. And Crystal's like, okay, I get that. I can take away that you're manic. And I'm sorry that I said that word and I won't do it again. And Rinna goes, don't say it unless you mean it. And Crystal goes, Lisa, did you hear me? I said I feel bad that I said it, and I won't say it again. Okay, so you're not saying that Sutton's not manic, you're just not going to tell her she's manic anymore. Got it. In Rinna's confessional, she goes, this goes in the non-apology Hall of Fame. So Garcelle said, Sutton, we have to make sure you're okay. Are you okay? And Sutton's like, I'm more than happy to move on, Kathy. We don't ever want to feel like we're pushing somebody over the edge, That's mixed up. Garcelle goes, messed up. You mean that's messed up? Oh, and Lisa's like, stay true to yourselves. Take one day at a time and live in the moment. And Sutton goes, and lock your doors. Everyone's like, oh my God. Garcelle goes, too soon, Sutton. Sutton's like, it's a joke, come on. And Crystal goes, yeah, I did lock my doors, day 3, that's for sure. Okay, now it is 4 days later, and Kyle, Kathy, and Dorit have all tested positive for COVID. That was a little micro super spreader that Lisa had. And they were outside. They even ate outside, so I don't know, man. But now the entire group has to quarantine for 2 weeks. Then we see that it's December 2nd, 2020, week 2 of the quarantine. We have Garcelle and Sutton FaceTiming, and Garcelle said, have you been on social media at all lately? Something broke about Erika and Tom being sued. Then we see the headline, they're being sued for fraud and embezzlement. And Sutton goes, wow, this was on Fox News. And Garcelle's like, it's everywhere. Then we see the Daily Mail, Real Housewife of Beverly Hills star Erika Jayne, 49, and her lawyer husband, 81, are sued for embezzling funds meant for the families of the victims of the 2018 Lion Air plane crash, and using their sham divorce to protect their money from debt collectors. Lisa and Dorit are both talking about it in their confessionals. Lisa says it's shocking, and Dorit is like, it just makes me cringe seeing that these victims are widows and orphans. That's the punch in the gut. Then we get like all of their confessionals and we see their reactions. Kyle says she's keeping an open mind. Of course, why not? Innocent until proven guilty, and she's going to go off of the person that she knows that Erika is. Now Kyle and Rinna are Zooming Erika. Erika says, I'm fucking horrible. How do you think I am? This sucks so bad, and people are believing the things that are said, and it's wrong. What they're saying about my divorce being a sham is insane, and nobody cares about the facts. Kyle goes, so when they say it's a sham, Erika goes, that my divorce is just so that we can hide our assets. The answer is no. Rinna, how would you hide assets in a divorce, though? Erika, I wouldn't know. But a lawyer might. Anybody know a lawyer? I mean, come on. Kyle goes, are you totally in the dark? Like, what's the situation? And Erika goes, you have to remember that it's the firm that they're dragging in. So they're suing the firm, and I'm being attached to it. Now we have a producer asking Erika in her talking head, how did you first find out about this Boeing lawsuit? Erika, I can't answer that. So the producer said, well, you're not a lawyer, so why are you being named in a lawsuit about his legal career? Erika, that is the question. I don't know why I would be named in a lawsuit that I have nothing to do with. Now Kyle and Lisa are asking Erika, how bad could this get? And Kyle goes, like, what's the worst? Erika, criminal charges. Lisa, not for you, though. And Erika said no. It could be a criminal investigation. Then Erika's telling them she's got more lawyers than she can afford right now. And Kyle goes, well, doesn't he have to pay? Erika said, not right now. And he hasn't given me a dime since the day I walked out that door. So Erika then says that being quarantined right now isn't helping matters any. She has a lot of anxiety. And Kyle offers to be there for her because, you know, Kyle knows a thing or two about anxiety. So she said, anytime, you could call me anytime you want. Rinna, me too. Yeah, Rinna doesn't want to be left out of that. We're here for you, Erika. We know who you are. You're a good person. So Erika's crying and she goes, I didn't do this. And they're just like falling over each other. We know, Erika. Oh, we know. We know you didn't. Okay, now it's 5 days later. We see Erika sweeping her shitty little patio, and Rinna comes over with muffins or something. I don't know. I love that Bravo likes to do things to remind us that Erika has hit the skids by showing us scenes like her loading the dishwasher or cleaning dog poop up in the yard. You know? Let's just drive home that she's got a shitty little life in her $1 million home. Oh, okay, so Crystal arrives too. Erika is like, you know, overly apologizing to Crystal for making her, you know, drive out to her shitty little neighborhood. And she's trying to kind of jump the gun by saying, oh, it's very small. I know, it's very small. Before Crystal says anything. And Crystal is overcompensating too because she goes, oh, it gives me chills. It reminds me of this nightmare I had once where I was locked in a tiny box and I couldn't get out. I'm getting those same chills right now from your house, Erika. No, she goes, it gives me chills. I love it. What? Why? You never said that about Lisa's house or Kyle's house or Dory. You know what I mean? Those houses don't give you chills, but Erika's shitty little house does. Please. Anyway, Erika's like, girl, grab your purse. We'll go sit outside. It's the best part of the house. The best part of the house is when you're not in it. Also, grab your purse. Is it like, keep an eye on your belongings at all times when you are here? Meanwhile, Garcelle is visiting Kyle, whose house can so not be described as small that she has a hard time finding Kyle. To be fair, Kyle made her come around the back to where she was standing on a balcony like Juliet in a school play. I get that she's getting over COVID and that they shouldn't be near each other, but why she has to be like up on this balcony? That I don't get. Okay, Garcelle just said what I did. She goes, I can't believe I'm playing Romeo to Kyle's Juliet. But I'll tell you this, I will not drink poison for her. So they're chatting. Kyle remembers when she was on Little House on the Prairie. She was in this episode called Quarantine where she had scarlet fever. And this kind of reminds her of that. So Garcelle had to spend her birthday by herself, and she hasn't seen her boys in a while because, you know, everybody had to quarantine for 2 weeks. Anyway, Kyle's better now, and she said Kathy's better, and Dorit is better too. So she wants to do a girls' trip in La Quinta, which is where she has her desert home. And Garcelle's like, what? No, thank you. You guys have cooties. And Kyle's like, we are probably the safest people to be around right now because we have the antibodies. Side note, guys, what do we think about these sweaters that are just a collar and sleeves and nothing else? I can't figure out when I would want to wear this. You know what I mean? Like if it was hot enough to be wearing a tank top, why would I want my arms completely covered in wool? And then if it's cold enough for a sweater, I'm going to need more than my arms covered. Anyway, Garcelle now asks about Erika, whether or not she's coming. And Kyle said, well, I think so. I'm inviting everybody. Cut back to Town USA, and Rinna says, how are you, Erika? Erika's like, not well, bitch. Oh, I miss Dorinda, guys. I miss the good Dorinda. I hope she's getting healthy and comes back. That would be my dream. Anyway, Erika says, I'm not good. I called my psychiatrist. It's too much pressure. It's so painful when you read that your divorce was a sham to hide assets. Does this look like... Rinna, oh, no, it sure doesn't look like you're hiding any assets. Really? Where would she hide them? In her shitty little pool? I thought you loved this house, Rinna. Remember how excited you were last week to see her shitty little half bath. Anyway, Erika's like, people want to believe it. And Krista goes, that's terrible. She's like, why? And Rinna goes, because it makes you feel better if all of a sudden that person you put up on a pedestal, Erika, is really a piece of shit. Hey, her words, not mine. Erika goes, really? Steals from widows and orphans. And then they go, see, I knew it. Okay, can we do like a timeout for a second? Who are these people that are putting Erika on a pedestal? I mean, like even in the best of times. In her confessional, Erika said, people think that Erika Jane brought down Tom Girardi. Tom Girardi brought down Tom Girardi. I don't want his actions to kill what I have created. I fear starting over. All I have is my name and the hope that this isn't where it ends for me. Cut back to Kyle and Garcelle. Side note, why does Kyle make Garcelle stand there? Okay, you want to be up on the balcony like a little princess, that's fine. But could you give your guest a chair? Also, if Kyle is so contagious that she has to be up on a balcony, shouldn't this little conversation have just been a Zoom call? Like, why are we making Garcelle drive all the way over here to stand and stare up at me while I'm on a balcony? It does not feel right. Anyway, they're talking about the horrible allegations that came out about Tom and Erika and how new stuff is coming out every day. Kyle says, I have spoken to her a little bit. Cut back to the others. Crystal goes, but like this stuff that's coming out, did you know? Erika goes, no. I ask myself what's coming next. It's not just Tom going down with the ship. He's taking all of us with him. People who have stayed with him, been loyal to him. We don't even know what he's done, but he's made a mess for all of us. Erika is now advising Crystal and Lisa Rinna to look at their bank accounts. Crystal's like, I deal with all the living stuff, but like a bank account freaks me out. Really, Crystal? I thought you were a badass tiger mom. A bank account freaks you out? Erika goes, please don't ignore it. Lisa goes, you need to know where your money's going. What's coming in, what's going out. Yeah, like what is this crazy $95,000 expense? Oh, it's a purse. You might want to return that. Your personal worth is only $1 million. And hubby needs to crank out a few more Stuart Littles. That's all I'm saying. It's been a while. Anyway, in Brenna's confessional, she said, I pay all the bills. With Harry and I, everything is joint. In addition to that, he has his own personal account and I have my own personal account. I always know where the money is and where the dead bodies are hidden and buried. Erika thinks that the more money your husband makes, the more they shut you out of financial things. In Crystal's confessional, she said, I don't know every detail of our financial situation, but I do know Rob would be happy to share it with me if I asked. And if he didn't, that would be a red flag. Yeah, I'd say so. Lisa asks Erika, knowing what you know now, and Erika cuts her off, or not knowing what I don't know. Okay, we get it. You don't know anything. Erika's like, I don't know if I could have done anything differently. I kept asking him and I was continuously shut out. She again tells us in her confessional how mean and dismissive and utterly vicious Tom was to her. She says, Tom wins, you lose, the end. That's the way it's always been. Question. So why stay for 22 years then? And leave a month before, maybe less, maybe just leave a couple weeks before all this stuff hits the fan. The timing looks bad, Erika. It just does. Okay, next, Lisa FaceTimes with Delilah. So Lisa goes to her garage where she keeps all her designer clothes because they won't fit in the house, I guess. I don't know. And she's showing this one dress to Delilah and she lays it out on the floor of the garage. Oh my God. Also, side note, if you're wondering who was buying all that toilet paper when we first were learning about the pandemic, it was Lisa Rinna because it's all in her garage right now. Oh, you guys, side note, my poor daughter should have been born to Lisa Rinna. She so would have appreciated all these vintage designer gowns. It is like so not fair that this cool, stylish daughter of mine got this lady who basically, if I have something new, I got it at Costco because, I I don't even shop anymore. Anyway, Delilah goes, Amelia told me that she's your favorite child, so you're going to have to give me those dresses to make up for that. And Lisa goes, I love you both the same. Delilah goes, yeah, I'll be telling my kids that too, but I won't mean it. And she goes, that's okay, I'm Dad's favorite. Next, we are at the Hilton Hotel, the private one that Kathy lives at. And you just hear Kathy calling, Sue, come here. And then she goes, oh. And you hear Sue howling as well. And as if I didn't already love Kathy Hilton, oh, come on, she named her dog Sue. Is that not like the cutest, goofiest name for a dog? I love it. Okay, so the next part I'm not quite sure I understand. I think Kathy Hilton makes her own wreaths, like her own Christmas wreaths. Because she had a bunch of them on the table. Kyle comes over, and she's looking at them, and she's like, oh, Kathy, this one with the doll, that's creepy. And she goes, oh, but her eyes, did you see they close when you lay it down and they open when you pick her up? I think she did, Kathy. I think that's what creeped her out. In her talking head, Kathy said, I use all kinds of things. Dolls or soldiers or teddy bears or vintage snowmen, crystal fruit, little miniature shoes, an old Saks Fifth Avenue receipt. Anyway, Kyle's not having a good day, and she's depressed, and she's worried about Portia. And, you know, I'm not even going to make fun of this part because this pandemic has been really, really hard on all of us. And those of us who have already been living with depression and anxiety, it was amplified. And the fear of sort of going through something that none of us have ever gone through in our lifetime, definitely some people were handling it better than others, but I think it hit even the strongest of us. And I've said this before, but, you know, those of you who have younger children and you're living through this pandemic, yeah, it makes me sad. And so, yeah, of course, she's worried about Portia. She can't go anywhere. She can't see her friends. But what Kyle is actually worried about is that Portia is kind of being okay with it. She's starting to become more introverted, and she's like, doesn't want to go anywhere or do anything now. And she's just fine being at home. And gosh, you know, when I think about how much social media and texting and getting likes and how much that plays in the mind of like a teenager or younger child, it scares me to think that that is the primary source of their socialization now. Certainly during quarantining before, but just during this whole COVID thing. And not being in large groups and not seeing other kids in person. Because, you know, cyberbullying was bad enough when you were like at least seeing your friends in person. But now that your whole social world is just there online, that scares me for kids. But anyway, sorry, tangent. In Kathy's confessional, she said that Kyle and I were not on good terms for a while there. It feels good to be there for Kyle now. And for Kyle to be there for me. So that was sweet. Guys, I'm so sorry about the sound because we are having a crazy thunderstorm happening outside right now. And I don't know if you can hear like the booms and stuff, but yeah. I'm crossing my fingers that like the electricity stays on. All right, now Kyle and Kathy are talking about Erika. Kyle, she's not doing well. All this stuff is out there and she can't defend herself. And Kathy goes, you know, at the end of the day, life is a poker game, and everybody's going to have to show their cards. And Kyle goes, shut up, Kathy. Okay, next we meet Waylon, who is Sutton's new puppy. And Lisa Rinna comes over to visit Sutton and see the puppy, and Sutton tells her to keep this on the down low, but Waylon might be doing a little chewing of, like, the molding and stuff around the house. Yeah. She's like, yeah, don't tell Kyle, because remember, Sutton is renting Kyle's house. Somebody's not getting her security deposit back. Anyway, surprise, surprise, we get to see one of Sutton's children. It's her daughter, Porter. She's 18 years old, which is probably why we get to see her. I'm pretty sure Sutton's ex didn't allow the children to be filmed. And that's what messed with Sutton last year. She was supposed to be a new housewife, but she had to be a friend of, because they cut her scenes because they couldn't show anything that had her kids in it. So at least that's the story I heard. In Sutton's confessional, she said, Porter is my oldest child, and she's a girly girl like me. She's also very quiet, unlike me, but she's in college. She has a double major in history and French, so she won't be getting a job after graduation. Is that what you're trying to say? No, she's trying to tell us that she's very smart. She has a beautiful voice, and she plays piano. She's like a mother's dream. Oh, okay, so Kyle and Garcelle must have the night off, because now we see a flashback with their understudies. Dorit is playing the part of Juliet, and Lisa Rinna is Romeo. Dorit's on a balcony too. I don't get this, you guys, but anyway, she had to quarantine away from her children, of course, because she had COVID. And she's like, they're so young, they didn't understand. They would beg me to be with them. Mommy, please. I don't care if I get it. Mommy, I want to get it. Please, Mommy, I want to get it. Back at Sutton's, Lisa asks Porter, so how's college? And she said, it's good. I mean, it was hard to meet people at first, but then I joined a sorority, and that's been fun. And Lisa said, oh, which one? And she said, Kappa Kappa Gamma. And Lisa said, oh, my sorority. That's what I was for like 5 minutes. Yeah. Lisa was only in college for a semester. So I'm not sure how long she was in the sorority, but I'm assuming less than that. Porter said, oh, so we're sisters. Lisa's like, oh, well, it kind of doesn't really count, but I was a Kappa Kappa Gamma. Woohoo! Then she's clapping her hands like a circus seal. She asks Porter if Sutton is strict with her, and Porter said, yes. So then Sutton goes, Porter is 18 and Amelia is 19. So we need to have a little meetup. Oh, sure. Let's arrange a little play date for Amelia and Porter. Amelia could bring Scott Disick, and Porter could bring her father. The girls could bond over the similarities between college and modeling. Porter's like, yeah, a play date. Lisa, a play date. She slaps the table. So now Sutton asks about Erika. She says she knows a little bit, but not like the facts, like the real facts. In her confessional, Sutton said, divorce sucks, but this one's like the worst ever. It's like one of those milkshakes that has a lot of things in it, and you grind them all up in there. It's real messy. I'm not exactly sure about the analogy, but I am curious what Sutton is putting in her milkshakes. Anyway, Sutton goes, I'm not going to make any kind of judgment until I know the real facts. And Rinna goes, well, why would you? Sutton, I wouldn't. Rinna, yeah, of course not. Unless it's Denise Richards. Then judge away. Next, Kyle is meeting Erika somewhere outside. Maybe they're going to go for a hike. They're keeping their distance because Kyle is getting over COVID. She asks Erika how she's doing. Again, not well, bitch. She's actually so emotional she has a hard time answering. Kyle, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I hate that I can't hug you right now. Erika, I'm just so overwhelmed. Kyle's like freaking out because she's never seen Erika like this. Erika, this is so hard. I've never been in a situation like this. I could never have predicted this shit. My hands are tied. Then she says she has such a story to tell, but she can't tell it because the time is not right. Side note, the only way to tell if a housewife is legit crying is to see snot coming out of their nose. And guys, Erika's really crying. Erika is legit upset. At least that much is true. I'm not saying she's guilty or innocent, but she is upset. She goes, Kyle, my divorce is not a sham. Kyle goes, oh, I know it isn't. Being the target of a criminal investigation is not cool. and to have everybody question everything. It's lonely and it's quiet. And you'd be shocked how quickly people turn on you and distance themselves from you. In her confessional, Erika said, "You want to know who your real friends are? Go broke. You want to know who your real friends are? Go to jail. You want to know who your real friends are? Ask them to help you bury the body." I don't know. What? Let's go back to that last one real quick. What did you need covered up in? Who did you ask to be your alibi? I swear sometimes it's like she's not thinking about what she's saying in these confessionals. Why would you say that? You want to know who your real friends are? Ask them to help you bury a body. I mean, I would not have added that one. You went one too far. Anyway, then she goes, "I just hope someone's checking on Tom because he's not good." Kyle's like, "Whoa, what's happening with that?" And Erika goes, "I don't know." Kyle, "Have you talked to him at all?" Erika, No, not since the day I left him. So, yes. I'm sorry, too many no's mean yes. She says that he's a proud man, and that's one of the reasons that she left. It was his resistance to anything. I couldn't even have a conversation with him. "You can't see well anymore, Tom." He'd be like, "What are you talking about? I'm fine." "No, you can't see well. You can't hear. You're degrading in front of me, and you're ignoring it. I'm so sorry to unload all this on you." Okay, I'm sorry. He's 81. What do you want him to do about that? Stop aging? I mean, you knew that was going to happen when you married a guy 33 years older than you. Anyway, Kyle said, "Erika, listen. We're friends. That's what friends are for. And you talk about people leaving you. I'm not leaving you. I am not that friend. You can always call me in the middle of the night whenever you need it." And Erika goes, "I know. But you have your own family. You were sick with COVID." Kyle goes, "I don't care. You were checking on me every day I was sick. I've been worried about you." And then she goes, "I'm only asking you things that I know are out there already anyway." Erika goes, "Go ahead, ask me anything." I mean, she's such a good friend, but while I have you here, let me ask some in-depth questions. Kyle says, "I'm reading that he's asking you to pay his lawyer bills." Erika, "Oh yeah, that was great. It's just Tom being an ass." And Kyle goes, "I couldn't believe that because, he's always provided for you." Erika, "I never made more than him. He knows that." So my favorite Erika, confessional Erika, says, "God, I can't believe I'm going to say this." Go on. "As much as Tom encouraged me, I think he resented every step I took forward. Around the time of Chicago, Tom's view of me had changed. He was like, 'Who the do you think you are?' I was like, 'What are you talking about? You gave me the ball. I just ran into the end zone with it.' Kyle thinks he's punishing her for leaving him. Erika, "Oh, he's down to punish my ass all the way to the ground." Or all the way to jail. Confessional Erika says, "People saw things differently from the outside, but on the inside, it was very different. I would go to hug him, and he wouldn't hug me back." Side note, these eyebrows we're looking at right here, they are shaped to garner sympathy. It's new, because usually she's got those kind of villain eyebrows with a sharp arch. Not these. These make her look sad and innocent. Now she's crying in her confessional. There was another life happening. The outside saw a lot of support, but the inside was not. There was a lot of conflict. So now Kyle says, "You must be worried for your future." Okay, this is such a thinly veiled Kyle. You can read her like a book. All she cares about is, if this ever happened to me, how I would feel. Because Mauricio is always taking care of me. What would I do without his money? And Erika must be worried for her future because I would be worried for my future. She's just internalizing this so much. Anyway, Erika goes, "Hell yeah. Tom is going through his own personal hell and I can't help him." Kyle, "That must feel horrible." Oh, thank you again, Captain Obvious. Erika, oh my God, Kyle. Kyle goes, I remember you saying that you thought you would always be there for him until the end. Yeah, I remember her saying that too, Kyle. It was only 3 episodes ago. And Erika goes, well, this is the end. And it is also the end of this episode. All right, next week they are in Kyle's beautiful house in La Quinta, and that episode looks good. So I can't wait. I hope you guys are going to join me next week. Thank you guys for being here today. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. If you liked this particular episode, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment. I read all your comments. I love to hear from you guys. And that is it for me. I will see you next week with the next recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Hope you're there. I love you guys. Bye.